What's up, everybody? Dotsaman Diecast here. I am here with the famous Bruce Zollo. You all know him. If you're in the Dotson community of, as you know, a subscriber recently said, click. But we're not a clip. We're a community of diecast collectors that love each other. And Bruce Zollo is one of my favorite people out there. I had to get him on the podcast just because he's just giving. He gives, his time, his diecast, money, all that stuff. He's a giving person, and we appreciate you, Bruce. So introduce yourself, Bruce. Well, you don't have to introduce. We know you, but just say hi to everybody.
It's infamous, not famous. It's
infamous. Yeah.
It's an honor to be on here as the only creator, I guess you would call me.
Yeah, but that's soon to change. We were talking for a second before we started this. That's soon to change.
Yeah. Charging up the battery on the camera right now. So there's going to be a possible short coming up within the next few days. Just a quick, and the inspiration actually came from Pete. Came from Old Man Diecast.
Good. Yeah. Pete's awesome.
He did a few months back. He did a show me your work area.
Mm-hmm.
Video, just a quick video. So I've been thinking about it. My place is a mess. Just a quick background. I live with my niece and her husband and their baby. I live on the third floor with them. I was technically still married for 27 years. Moved out about 5 years ago. Yeah. That's a whole nother story. It's another time, another channel.
We'll get that story later on.
I'm a dad. I'm a granddad. My wife had 2 kids moving into her life. I came into their lives early. I'm dad to them. So the oldest is 36. Her son. Our son.
Yeah, that's my age. 37.
30,
so right there.
34. And my daughter, will be 25 in February.
Wow.
And of course, now there's 4 grandchildren there as well. So I'm Pop-Pop.
Pop-Pop.
I'm Pop-Pop.
Well, that isn't. You probably love that, though, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Pop-Pop. The best part is I get to wind them up and leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my niece and nephew, I do the same thing, and my sister. I always buy them like loud toys and stuff like that too. And she's like, "Why do you have to buy these loud toys?" I'm like, "Because I can." Because I can leave.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I've always been. I don't want to say artistic. I'm a dabbler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I've done woodworking. My daughter and I rebuilt her mom's, the deck at their house.
Yeah.
2 summers ago.
That's cool. That's more than I've ever done. I'm not a woodworker, so that's.
Yeah, and I built a mantle. There's stuff that I've done. I've always worked with my hands.
Yeah.
Growing up with my dad, was building models together, and that's kind of where the whole creative thing started. I've worked with sculpty clay. I have some stuff that I've made and passed a lot of that on to my daughter. My daughter is extremely creative and extremely artistic. I try to move her along and try and get her a little more sociable.
Yeah,
she's very shy.
Yeah,
and ironically, I tend to be shy as well. Just warming up to you guys it's you and Derek and. Yeah, you guys are awesome people. It just makes it very easy.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'd like to think that a gift of mine is just to make people feel comfortable and easy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's not always that case, though. I'm all about honesty. Sometimes, I work with customers. I work in customer service for like higher end. Sometimes I'm in like a nasty. Like I'm not in a nasty mood, but I'm in a mood, and I'm a little bit more like not as like. Easygoing because I'm stressed out, right? We all get there,
Absolutely. I worked in retail for 15 years, so.
But it's a process, man. You always got to work on making yourself better somehow. Even in those situations, you got to somehow you got to fake it too.
Oh, absolutely. So, there's been days where I'm absolutely miserable, and it's everything you can do to muster a smile and be polite, and you get that one customer that sets you off, and you just you still got it. You still got to bite your tongue. You got to remember who you're working for and what you're working for.
Yeah, you can get fired real easy doing saying things, doing things, of course. But some people just don't care,
No, they don't. They just,
they don't think about the consequences or where, do you have another job? Can you get another job tomorrow? Pay your bills. Right.
And actually, it happened. I was in that situation where I was actually working 2 jobs at the time. So even at that, it was still one of those things where you gotta. I guess it's more about upbringing.
Yeah,
I mean, you learn how to. I told you before. My dad taught me a lot of things, and one of the most key points that he taught me is how to channel my anger and my temper.
Yeah.
He had a very he was very laid back, but if you got him mad, it was not pretty.
Yeah.
And
it was kind of a short. Yeah. It was like, I think a lot of I think over the years I've noticed a lot of guys that are even temper or like even keel, like super laid back. It takes a lot to get them really angry, but once they do, it's scary. It's like, and I'm kind of the same way, and I haven't got to that point for a long time in my life. It was probably when I was in college or whatever, I got in a fight, like a physical fight, and this guy put a cigarette out on my arm at some little get together thing, and it was just like on and off. It was like, there's no talking I don't know, at that point. But I think over the years of growing up and getting in those situations, I don't think that I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. But I mean, of course, when it comes to your family and and friends, if they're being attacked or compromised, it's on. Like, right? You have to protect your family. So, absolutely. But when it comes to yourself, it's there, but not as much. It's
right. The key thing that you're going to feel the change is when you have a child brought into the picture.
Oh, sure.
Guys, we're guys. I mean, we're full of testosterone and we're all masculine, and but a kid comes into your life and it totally changes you.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your own child, that protective element, just it's almost natural.
Yeah.
And there's been situations where I've had to go to bat for the kids and protect them, and that's when they saw a side of me that most people don't get to see. But I mean, it's instinctive. I mean, it's just the way it is. You're a dad, and you will do everything to protect the family and protect your loved ones. So
it's like, even I think moms can be even more so, right? Like
moms are nasty. Moms tend to react before they think.
Yeah, but it's just that mama bear.
Mama bear. Absolutely,
thing. It's their child that they brought them into the world, and it always reminds me, like when we were talking about this, it's like when I was a kid. My mom always like had her eye on me, and I was like out in the yard, but I was probably a couple years old, like 2, 3, 4, something like that, just a little toddler. And I was on the corner, and the paper boy was coming around, and for some reason I got this word into my head, or I was calling him a buckethead. And I was like, "Hey, buckethead," and he was like, he thought I said something much different, so he came over, and he's like a teenager, like a early, maybe 12, 14 years old or something like that. He comes over and pushes me down. And I'm out on the corner of our property, and my mom just comes out. She's like kind of watching me from the door. She like flings the door open. She's out there like flash lightning, just like over there. And she's like, just in his face, and like, what did you do? You're pushing a child down. And she's just like lighting him up. But I'll never forget that story. Like she's like what, 5'2", 5'3", and when she gets upset, whether it be mostly for us. I mean, the only time I've really seen her upset is when someone's messing with us. Or like maybe my dad or something like that. But she grows to be 10 feet tall, like, and it's not a joke. Like as a kid, I was, that's mom. But like as soon as you like made her angry, She was very scary. Like, doesn't matter how big. She could be like 2 feet tall, but as soon as she was angry, she's 10 feet tall. She's scary.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people do, have the moms like that. Not everybody, but it's a good thing to have. My parents always, they raised me right. They taught me manners, how to be kind to people, how to love people. Turn the other cheek. A lot of good values that a lot of people don't do anymore. And they kept me out of a lot of trouble just from, like, hey, where you been? Like, who were you with?
Right.
And it's like, and, I'm a terrible liar anyway. So I'm like, and Kimber knows that. She's like, not that I lie to her, but she just knows I'm not capable. But yeah, I'm like, I was with Jim. And she's like, no, you weren't. And I'm like, I wasn't with him. So it's like, and I'm quick to apologize too, which is a good trait. I think I get that from my dad. And so, yeah, I was always quick to apologize when I, lit my mom's fuse, and so I was always like, I'm sorry, And I think a lot of people, like that are listening to this podcast, can work on just being better at like maybe apologizing, because we're all stubborn, right? To a certain extent, some people more than others, but it just really helps to even if you're not wrong sometimes, but that you could have said something different, done something different. It's easier to like just apologize and squash it and move on, So,
Right.
Yeah, so let's talk about you, Bruce. This show is not about me. So what got you started into diecast? Tell me what got you started.
I mean, I was a boy, I was a rough, and I abused my toys growing up. And like I said, I was more into military figures, a little bit more background than me. Come from basically a military family.
What branch?
My grandfather, my grandfather's father, they were all in the military. My grandfather and his 3 brothers all were in World War II.
Oh, wow.
My grandfather actually lied about his age
to get in there. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah. And they were all Marine. My grandfather, my mom's side of the family. My grandfather was a Marine. Her cousin was a Marine, 35 years, and mostly lifers. My dad was in the Navy. My dad's dad was a civilian that worked for the Navy as a pipe fitter. So I mean, my background, I have a military background, but that being said, I always played with military toys.
Okay.
I always had the G.I. Joe figures, the little green army men.
Oh yeah, I had all those too, man.
Yeah, well, I was also very destructive. My grandfather, my mom's father, was a hunter. Yeah, and he used to reload his own rounds, so there was always gunpowder around.
Oh gosh.
So, yeah. So I mean, I've done some questionable things as a child.
Do you have all your fingers, Bruce? I've never paid attention.
Yeah, you got them all? I have all my fingers. I have all my toes.
What a miracle.
Pretty much everything's still intact. Except my sanity.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that.
So anyway, to go back to that, I had cars. I had Hot Wheels and Matchbox growing up. I really as a kid, wasn't really into cars. I was more of an athlete. Mm-hmm. My parents got me. I was born too late, 2 weeks late. And I was born with very underdeveloped lungs.
Oh, wow.
And, the doctor back then actually said, get him into, physical activities to help build up his lung strength. So at 6 years old, I was playing soccer. I played soccer for many years, and then I'm a big dude. I'm 5'8", but I'm like 200, and right now I'm 240 pounds.
Of sheer muscle.
I was solid. It's not that much anymore. The belly's there.
Yeah, it happens.
But yeah, I mean, as I got older, I was growing and I was getting bigger, and I was bigger than most of the kids I was playing with. So it became, Yeah,
you were quick. Quick to grow, and I was late. It was the opposite.
right. Now you're what, 6 what?
Yeah, just 6, probably like 6, just 6 feet.
And I'm 5'8".
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of one of those sweet justice things, where you just get picked on, and then you're like, hey, now I'm way taller than you are. So
that was it with me. Growing up, you get picked. I was chubby. I was a chubby kid, but I was also thick.
Yeah,
and I got picked on a lot and got called fat, got called all kinds of things. And again, that goes back to my temper. I think I was only in ever one fist fight in school, and that ended up with 2 of us ended up being friends.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes the case. I was definitely in more than one fist fight, but we won't go into that.
I tried to, and I know it's going to sound cliche, but I knew what would happen if I actually let loose.
Yeah,
and I always held back.
Crazy. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, so it was one of those things where it just, it was what it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, going, that's the backstory. My grandfather's brother passed away, and the family knew that I was into trains, so they offered me to take some of his collection. And in that collection, there happened to be some Lesney Matchbox.
Oh, okay.
And
Lesney Matchbox are cool.
Yeah, so I have them all in a curio cabinet right now. But there's a Jaguar E-Type with the wire wheels, and I absolutely fell in love with the car. So I started doing some research and found Marty's Matchbox makeovers on YouTube.
I've heard of that.
Pretty much was history.
And when was this? This? What year was this?
About 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
With you.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I really didn't collect much. I had.
You didn't have much diecast.
Yeah, no, I didn't have much diecast. My stuff was more like RC cars, model building. Mostly planes and ships.
Yeah.
But as I was going through, I was collecting the tools and stuff. So I kind of had most of the tools already that I would need to be, to restore some of these Matchbox cars. Yeah. So then it became starting to look for more, and that's where the rabbit hole fell into.
Yeah.
I currently. To be honest with you, I haven't counted, but I easily I could guesstimate easily over 1,200 Lesney cars that are in various states of repair. And I mostly buy junkers. I'll buy the stuff that nobody else wants. I'll buy the stuff that's destined for the trash can.
Yeah.
If it doesn't sell. With the thought that eventually I'll get a chance to get around to restoring it. And if you haven't watched, I don't know if you've ever seen Marty.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard the name before, but I'll have to check it out.
He's a legend in the
restoration
field.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's Fat Guy Productions, Paul Udelis. He's another amazing restorer, customizer. That got me getting into him, watching him.
It's so
got
cool.
Me interested in the Three Blind Mice. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah, I heard of them through JDC for sure.
Yeah, and that if I go into my subscription list in YouTube, it's absolutely ridiculous. I have over right now almost 460 different channels that I subscribe to.
Wow, that's a lot.
Between restorers and Matchbox, anything diecast. But I also was a gamer as well.
Oh yeah, I think JDC was saying he was a gamer too. Like him and his brother. His brother was like a world champion or something.
Oh yeah, his brother was. I think it was Forza. He said.
Yeah, like Forza, like world Forza champion or something like that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's
never
crazy.
I was never that level.
Just because you didn't have the right car, Bruce.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the right equipment.
So, again, going back to that, I built my own computer. I've built my own computer since middle school when computers were just coming out.
Like Alien hardware and stuff like that, or what? like that kind of a thing. But you made your own.
Yeah.
But you have like lights you have lights in there. You have like a little cooler, all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I built mine. Just recently, about 2 years ago, built built one. My daughter and I built one together.
That's cool.
So yeah,
I'll have to have you like maybe help me out like once I decide to, because I've had an iMac for a long time, but I don't really use it that much. But I'd like to have probably another PC again, something like fast and like cool to be able to edit and maybe do stuff, in my next place. Right. So I'll have to hit you up.
It actually helps. I mean, I listen to you guys talking about you do everything on your phones, and I'm just absolutely perplexed at how. Like I've worked with Adobe.
Yeah, I've worked with all that stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, with Corel, Paint Shop Pro, Daz, and Blender. So I've dabbled in a lot of other programming software. And again, it's another hurdle that I think has kept me back, because part of my problem.
You're like, where do I start?
Well, at that, and you're going to laugh, because I am a procrastinating perfectionist.
Yeah, no, I get it.
If it's not up to my standards, I won't pass it on and let anybody else see it. You saw the customs that I sent to, Mustang Hunter and to King Nut.
Yeah.
They were actually the first customs that anybody outside of myself has ever seen.
Yeah, because you just like they have to be like to your
and even at that, I'm sitting there watching the videos and I can see the imperfections, and I'm like, God, I should have never sent that.
You know what, dude? We all suffer from the same thing, and I think Hewitt's is one of those people that's like that. Like he sent me those. Do you see those Moon Eyes Datsun 510s? He sent me. Oh
God, yeah.
Yeah, so he even finds flaws in those, man. So like those things are like. He's like, man, I dropped one of them, and there's a little chip on there, and man, Datsun Man diecast guy, I don't know about him, but there's nothing. I don't see anything, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, to me,
and that's it. They're
perfect.
We are our own worst critics.
Yeah. So don't let that stop you.
Yeah, and again, I think I've built a little more confidence. With more and more people joining the community, and just the seeing the work that they've done, and seeing they're putting their stuff out there and allowing other people to see it, even if they're getting criticized for it.
Yeah,
which
who
taking
cares?
That criticism. Yeah. They're taking that criticism and learning from it.
Sure. And, if it's positive, if it's negative, then no. But if it's like, hey man, I usually do this. I mean, there's a certain way to criticize somebody nicely and to not do it nicely. Which a lot of people nowadays are just these keyboard warriors, that Derek deals with, that I deal with sometimes. I haven't dealt with much of it lately, or much at all. I try to keep everything positive, and if somebody wants to come at me like all negative, then it's just like, whatever, I don't care. I'm going to stay positive. But, it's still, for people that have big hearts like Derek, and, like Nas gets like a lot of just trolls and weird people too. It does, for people that truly care about their subscribers and about what people think of them, because at a certain point, a lot of people say, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. But at a certain point, you kind of do, because you want to be able to like help people and come off a certain way and to bring people into a community. So you don't want people to dislike you. Especially if your goal is to bring people in and not push people away. So it tugs on you sometimes, man. It's just like when people are like, oh, with Derek, they're like, oh, you planted that, you didn't find 4. There's no way, there's no possible. I'm like, you know what? I've seen about 1,000 other people do it. So it's like, over the years.
And the funny part is, they're usually, if you look at those people, they're people that's the first time that they've watched the video.
Yeah, that's
so
usually
they have no history. They haven't seen what they've, their videos from the past, and
no, they don't even watch the video all the way through. They just like as soon as they run into it, they're stopping to comment something negative. So.
Yep, and the thing that's going to make that even more challenging anymore now is the fact that YouTube is hiding the
likes or the dislikes. Yeah.
So it's allowing, and I was watching, and I can't remember who it was, but I was watching somebody just discuss that, and they were saying that now that they've hidden the dislikes, you're seeing more negative comments and just rude people in the comment section now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. You take the dislikes, and again, the dislikes still go to your analytics.
Yeah, it's
the
exactly.
dislikes
They still help
to
you.
Yeah, I mean, it still helps. So give me a dislike. So what? You're an Aussie. You got confused. That's a thumbs up here.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's funny.
I mean, it's I mean, just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and I think with our community, like just going back to like trolls, basically, because this guy was being a troll with Hewitts, but the guy that came in and said that we're just a circle. Oh, I see how it is. You guys aren't gonna, like my. They took his video down like right away, and you couldn't even go like it. But it's like these people. It's probably a younger generation. It's probably a younger guy, I would imagine, but I'm not gonna say for sure. But some younger people are like. They just feel like everything's, owed to them. Like I started a YouTube channel. I should have 100 subscribers by next week. You should all follow. I don't like you if you don't follow. Subscribe, hit the like. So it's like, no, man.
Gimme.
Yeah, I deserve this. Yeah. So cool. You started a YouTube channel. You posted your first video. But what are you going to do next? Like, are you going to continue to post videos? Are you going to be a part of the community? Are you going to be in other people's videos and support people and encourage people? Or are you just going to like look out for yourself?
Right.
So
I like to call them the participation trophy generation.
Yeah, it's true. I get they've got the partition. That's a thing, man. It's like a real thing. It's like, no, you didn't win. You did not win.
I know. I'm actually, it's crazy. I deal with that on a daily basis now with my current job.
Okay, with your job.
Yeah, I'm in management, so I have to deal with all kinds of types and
everybody's problem is your problem, right?
Exactly. I tell everybody I'm an underpaid babysitter. Is basically what I am.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It's going back to the community, the community. It's just we got to focus on the positive. And just the good stuff that goes on. Just the fact that there's so many people out there that actually care about each other, and we're all people that never met.
Yep.
It's we and some of us may never see each other face to face.
Yeah, I hope we do though.
I was talking to Andre and
Andre Cruz,
Jay. Last summer we were talking about we'd like to try and maybe next summer get together. Meet halfway.
Yeah,
because Jay's the furthest out, and then Andre's kind of in between myself and him. So it'd be kind of cool to meet everybody and just sit down and drink a couple adult beverages and chit chat about our lives and the diecast and how it's helped us and what it's gotten us through, and just the fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's like kind of why lately I've thought about once this COVID thing kind of dies down, if it ever does, it seems like it's never going to, but to put it together like a little mini convention for people like all of us that are in the community, just all kind of get together at like a larger hotel or whatever that has a convention. They have a big event room. We can rent that out. We can all just stay there for a couple nights. We can also start a GoFundMe for people that can't afford to get out there and put some money into there. I don't know how well that would do. You'd never know until you try, right?
Right. No, absolutely.
And if it helps one person get out there, a couple people get out there, cool. It's and to have like a little event center where we can like just like hang out, maybe like do some tracks, maybe put some tables out for customizing things. Just something like that to where we can meet each other in real life, and then just try to have one every year. And who can make it? Whoever can make it, cool. Whoever can't, cool. But there's always next year, because I always remember like me, Dotson, man. I always go to like a Dotson convention. Basically, it's a little. They stopped doing it in Canby. It was in Canby, Oregon, and they would do a get together for Dotsons, and there'd be a couple hundred, maybe 100 to 200 Dotsons there. Pretty easily, and it was really exciting for me to like see a lot of the Dotsons that you saw online or, wherever you never met the guys or people you've chatted with or bought parts from and stuff like that, to be able to see them in person, they're all pretty cool dudes, Like Dotson guys they're a rare breed. They're kind of like diecast guys kind of too. They're just a little off, Just like they're chill and they're just like they're passionate about their Dotsons and they're funny.
Yeah. I mean that would be
we're the same.
Any group. I mean, you talk about you're a Datsun guy.
Yeah.
Mustang guys are the same way. Mopar guys are the same way. They're passionate about their love. That's the one thing, the common denominator that brings them all together. And in our case, it happens to be dollar cars.
Yeah, dollar cars, and then you got people
toys.
like David at Twice Diecast get you into like Tarmax Works and stuff like that.
Oh, I know. And again, that's another rabbit hole that I staunchly am refusing to go down.
It's tough, man. Once somebody sends you one.
Recently was was M2. I mean, the last 2 years it was starting to grab M2s and Auto World, and I think I have a couple Johnny Lightnings. Actually, my Johnny Lightnings go back to
way back.
I mean, my Johnny Lightnings. I have some older red lines that I happened to come across. They grabbed in lots. But again, going back to things that we enjoy, I collect Grateful Dead cars.
Okay.
I was a Deadhead for a while. And still, you never really grow out of that. I mean, I love the music. I generally listen to everything. There really isn't anything that I don't listen to.
So you like polka? You're a fan of polka?
I will actually, believe it or not, depending on my mood, I will listen to polka if I need a giggle.
It's actually not that bad. Polka.
Yeah, and the polka comes from my grandmother, my mother's side. She actually listened to that kind of stuff. Her favorite band was Wham.
Wham.
So
good for her. That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, I'm actually looking at my wall right now. I have, and I just picked up, recently got a Volkswagen drag bus, a Johnny Lightning. I think it was from 2013 or 14. One of the Grateful Dead buses that it actually literally came in this morning.
Drag bus. Yeah, so, I love those little drag buses, man. I'm really
it's
not
the only one I have. Oh, no, yeah. It's the only drag bus I have, and it's actually one of those castings that when you look at it originally, and I'm a lot like James. If you listen to some of James's videos, he says I don't like that, but then when he gets it, he's like, oh my God, this is it's the most amazing casting ever, and I'm the same way. And so when I'm watching his videos and he does that, I start laughing because it's like I'm the same way. I am absolutely the same way. If I look at it, I'm like, But then when you have it in your hand, you're like, wow.
It's like his reactions too. Is like his and Eddie. I don't know if you watch Eddie's first couple of videos, Eddie Simple Customs. But Eddie's one of my new favorite YouTubers now, and he's got just a handful of subscribers, maybe about 50 or something. I think Kimber was just his 50th subscriber. So those two kill me because they're so much alike too. They're old school, but their reactions and the way that they like say things, and then just like how candid they are. Because nowadays everybody's dancing around stuff and doesn't want to say things or they're both very kind-hearted men, but they don't worry about like offending somebody. But they'll apologize, right? Too, just like we were talking
filter.
about.
It's called, no filter. It's called no filter.
No filter.
Just talking about that, shout-outs. I wanted Superbird.
Yeah.
I was just on a live. He had a live the other day, and it was a great time. I mean, again, it's the same thing. The lives with Jay, he's really just chit-chatting with us, and it gives us all an opportunity to actually talk and and learn about each other while we're talking about our hobby and everything. So yeah, I mean, live feeds to me are great if I can catch them.
You're busy
again
guy.
with my work schedule. It's so crazy, especially this time of year. Like tomorrow, I have to be at work at 7:00 in the morning, which for me is a major no-no. I am not a morning person.
Oh, really? Because I probably would have thought the opposite. Like you're getting up super early.
I am horrible when it comes to the morning. So typically during, holiday seasons, my day typically starts at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that was me today. I was like, I think I got up around 9:30 or something like that. I don't know, 10.
And then I'm usually home by 7:30, 8 o'clock if I go stop and see the girls. I usually get home around 9, and then I just veg. I sit back and I watch YouTube. I try to catch up with everybody's videos. If I'm in the mood, I'll hop at my desk, sit at my desk, and dabble with a couple of customs that I've been working on for actually too long. It's just one of those things. And again, going back to that, it's building customs, doing and creating. There's again any new people out there that are listening, and you guys, there's so many people that have said, just do it. Just do it. Don't think about it. If it doesn't work, try something else.
Yeah, exactly.
I posted a picture of the Sesto Elemento that I've been working on. It was the Matchbox Sesto out of the collector's set.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I had a vision in my head, and I started doing it, and I've re-stripped this car 3 times. The base paint, I know what I want. I have the colored shift that I use, and I'm using that. The problem is with the base and the interior and details, and it's one of those things you just got to do it. And if you got to strip it, you strip it.
Yeah. And you're gonna do that when you get into you're gonna get in that when you do like customizing diecast, where you're gonna do that a lot in life. Just car builders and stuff like that. They're like, even painters and stuff. They just do something like they don't do it right, or it doesn't work out right, and maybe it wasn't it's the elements, it's the contaminants that get into the paint. And they got to redo it. It's not much fun.
That's the other thing. You learn. Cliche again. You learn by your mistakes.
Exactly.
And it holds true with everything in life, not just diecast.
Sure.
But unfortunately, you got to be careful because certain mistakes could be detrimental.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
like gunpowder. Like if you're a kid and you're messing with gunpowder, it's not. It's frowned upon, Bruce.
Lines of army men with gunpowder under their feet. Yeah.
But hey, if Bruce still has all of his fingers, there's a good chance that you could make it through your life with all your fingers too.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Gunpowder bad.
Gunpowder bad. Coffee cans of gasoline.
If you send me a custom, I'm going to shake it and make sure there's no gunpowder in it, Bruce. Is there gunpowder in here? What is this black powdery substance?
What's this stuff rattling around in there?
I don't like it. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Everybody's already heard your inspirations. What's gotten you into it. Where's your future?
Where's my future?
With you and Kimber tying the knot, you guys are getting married, which congratulations.
Thank you. It's under 2 months now. Yeah.
I know. I know that she's very supportive, which is great. Not that many people have that.
Yeah, it's true.
It's, again, here we are, grown men playing with toys.
Yeah,
and
lots of toys.
A lot of people don't understand it, and it's just a matter of, I turn to them and say, how many rings do you have in your jewelry box?
Yeah, purses. Clothes.
Right.
All kinds of stuff.
Everybody has their collections.
Right. It's all different.
Everybody has their vices. To me, I don't go out drinking. I don't do drugs. Yeah. This is my vice. This is my
It's a good one. It's a good one to have. It's like, especially because, I don't know, for me, and, and I always make fun of this because you've probably seen I'm always quoting the Fast and Furious lines, but it's almost like, there's something about diecast that calms me down, It's just like, it's something about diecast that calms me down, man. Of course, it's just like, especially customizing, polishing, even shooting my videos, even doing this podcast with you. It just kind of brings me ease, in the busy day-to-day life. that we all have, full-time jobs. Most of us do. I don't, if I could make a living doing this, then cool, man. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I cannot count on that. I'm always going to provide for my family. I'm always going to help others where I can. If I have any extra money, or even if I don't have enough money, I'll still try to help others, But it's like it's a really cool thing to be a part of, and I love cars. I've always been kind of a car guy. As soon as I don't have anybody in my life when I was growing up as a child, but once I got to drive and I met some buddies in high school that were really into cars, I just got consumed in cars, And then Fast and Furious came out like probably around that time, the first one. And underglow and speakers and like turbos and all that stuff and, Charger, because I don't care. I mean, I love Japanese cars, but I love a Charger, a Challenger. I really know quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot I need to learn, but I watch shows on. I've watched pretty much all the hot rod shows you can like anything that's any good. Gas Monkey Garage. I love watching those guys. Like Richard Rawlings. He's Rich Rawlings. But he's kind of weird and he's kind of like, you can tell it's like a lot of people probably don't like him that much that work for him. But he's a character and he's doing what he wants to do and his passion. But it's like watching. And there's a lot of stuff that dude does know, and there's a lot of stuff that guy doesn't know too. And I think that comes to like with everybody. Like we all know a lot about something, but sometimes we don't know. And I love when people like I don't have a problem with people correcting me and saying, "Oh no, that was 1962," and I'm like, "Oh, my bad," But there's just certain people out there like, "No, that's not possible." They just want to argue for the sake of arguing. But there's
that drives me absolutely crazy. People that argue for the sake of arguing.
Yeah,
it just
sucks.
Like really, what do you gain out of that?
Nothing.
It doesn't help. It makes you look absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that and arguing online,
especially if you're arguing about something that it's either trivial, or you're absolutely wrong. Everybody around you knows you're wrong, but you're still arguing about it.
Yeah, just give up.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, but especially online, like when you're arguing with people you watch people arguing back and forth online. You're just like, this is so stupid and pointless. Who's gonna win? Even if you win, you still lose. You still look dumb. Like stop. You still lose.
You still look like the challenged one. But yeah, I mean, again, going back to cars, I never really was a car guy. Yeah. I liked cars, but I was never really into cars.
Yeah.
My aunt, the backstory behind the customs that I sent to Mustang Hunter, my aunt had a 66 Fastback that she bought off the lot, and it was custom. And she had it till 1995. To the point where I had recently gotten married. I didn't have anywhere to store it. She didn't have anywhere to store it. She wanted to give it to me. And, it became, what do we do with it? It's going to cost us more to store it than it's going to be worth, because the firewall was rotting out, and, it was a typical Mustang, and I loved the car to death. But it was, the wheel wells were rotting out. And
that was a what year?
It was a 66.
66, nice.
Yeah. So, but again, I can, I drove the car, and that just the rumble, just the older cars, and that kind of, it piqued my interest a little bit, but never enough to put me over the top. Yeah. But, and then I'd look back and talking to my dad before he passed, my grandfather had a GTO, a yellow and black GTO. And I remember as a little kid, I remember the car, and I remember, him driving us around in it. So, I mean, I was around cars. It wasn't like I wasn't around cars to really ever become interested. It's just that, my path took me in a different direction. And now it kind of seems like it's swinging back around the other way.
I would say so, yeah.
You know, and again, you're gonna laugh. I didn't get my driver's license till I was 18. I could drive. I'd been driving since I was 12.
Bruce, that's illegal, and I don't know who I need to talk to, but I'm going to get you locked up.
I was not driving on public roads. How's that?
Back road.
Yeah. I would drive my grandfather's station wagon on his property, and we had horses growing up. My sister rode, so you know I would hook the trailer up, and I would drive the trailer manure down to the farm. The guy, the neighbor, drive it to them. Unload it, drive the car back, or I would drive down to get the mail because his driveway was a quarter-mile long. So, I mean, yeah, that kind of driving, not street driving.
Yeah, well, you know what? Honestly, if that was me, you said you're 12.
Yeah,
I couldn't be trusted. Like, I'm the kind of person that like, how fast does this go? Like, that's how I've always been.
All that out. I got all that out of my system with my grandfather's lawnmower. That became my demolition car, my demolition derby.
You're out there getting lawnmowers airborne and like popping.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I literally built ramps for the lawnmower. I figured out how because it was a used.
I was joking,
McDonald's.
But you're not.
No, I'm dead serious. It was a used McDonald's lawnmower that he picked up for like $100. Yeah, and
those old ones are fast, man. I used to ride one. God, yeah. They're fast. You could drift them.
Absolutely. And I used to. He had a hill that I used to come flying down and pop it in neutral. Yeah. And drift into its garage. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did some crazy things. I definitely did some crazy things. Yeah. But my first car was actually an '84 Celica hatchback.
Nice.
And I absolutely loved that car.
I had one of those, man. Like, I think it was 84, 85, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
It was 84 or 85. I believe it was an 84.
Yeah, the hatchback. 22 RE, 5-speed.
5-speed manual. Yeah. So I learned how to drive, obviously
driving tractors. That's a fun car, man. That's a fun car.
Oh, my God, that car. So the thing is that the friend of ours...
fun. Gosh, ugly.
Absolutely. I had a blast with that car. So a friend of ours, we got it from a friend of ours who was a car dealer, and he's been a car dealer his entire life. Mm-hmm. It actually had a racing clutch in it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So he kind of hooked me up with this car, and I don't know, the top speed on that thing is maybe 110 if you're lucky.
Maybe 110 if you're downhill with the breeze going your direction.
I literally got clocked by a cop doing 120.
Oh wow! So you got it like perfect conditions.
Yeah. I mean, it was a straightaway. And
so did you get tossed in the back of the cop car like I did with mine? Did you hear that story that I told on my podcast?
No, I missed that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll get there.
Which podcast was that?
I don't know. It was recent. It was the last couple ones, but I got, and I'll let you listen to it. But I'll
go back because I just heard the Thanksgiving Day one, and I heard that there's like one or two that I missed just because I'm scheduling.
Dude, don't worry about it. But I was just curious. But yeah, it's that car was not very fast, but you could still get in trouble in that car for sure. But,
I got in a lot.
I got put in the back of a cop car. Driving that car, getting caught doing something. So I'll let you listen to that. But yeah.
So yeah, the cop, cool. He clocked me, and I saw him. I knew I was done for, but I literally could have
such a terrible
just disappeared on him. But me being me, I pulled over and waited for him. Yeah, and he actually when he pulled up, he actually wasn't pissed because because
you pulled over. Yeah.
And he comes up to me, he goes, why I pulled you over, right? And I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, what'd you get me at? And he's like, 120. I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, but you slowed down to 90 when you took the turn.
So he's like, I appreciate that. And it's like...
Yeah, so it was he let me go. He hit me with the 90. And I think that was 4 points on my license. I didn't lose my license, but the following event, I ended up having to go to class to get my license back.
Oh, okay. I've never had to do that.
I told that story. I think I told that story on somebody. somewhere along the lines. It was you I was talking to you about with my temper and cutting off the armored car because some jerk in a Jaguar cut me off, and I took off and chased him and cut off an armored car and got pulled over right before a bridge. Had Port Authority waiting for me.
Ooh.
And they pulled me over, and the worst part was I was 19 or 20 at the time, and we were all heading to a house of ill repute, I will call it, on the other side of the border. And so we had beer in the hatch. And in my hatch I had a 20-inch subwoofer off of a regular speaker subwoofer that I hooked up to an equalizer. And behind it, we had like all this beer in brown paper bags. And I'm not condoning this. If anybody's listening that's underage,
it's not good.
By no stretch of the imagination am I condoning this, because I actually, thinking back, I could have died. We all could have died. But anyway, I got pulled out of the car. I got thrown against the hatch, and they laid into me. They were talking about impounding the car. But luckily they didn't search the car. And so I happened to be, my best man in my wedding was one of my best friends growing up. His dad was chief of police in the area, like one of the local areas. And they took everybody's licenses, and they found out that he was with us. So we kind of, got a little lesser of a,
it's not what you know, you have
of a fine, but it was like $350 fine, and this is back in 91,
that's a lot of money.
90.
Yeah, it's a lot of money back then.
Yeah, so
a lot of money now, even sometimes. But usually there's some of those tickets are going to be over $1,000 or whatever, and you lose your license.
Yeah, so that one put me over the top, and I ended up losing my license and having to go to class and get it back. But I have been clean since then. I have not had a traffic violation, knock on wood.
Careful, man.
Since then.
Well, since you got rid of that Celica and that hot rod, now you're good, man.
Oh my God, yeah. I'll tell you what, I absolutely, that car, I love that car. I really did. It was one of my, and I don't know if you remember, but the hatches on them tended to rust.
Oh yeah,
and,
they rust.
I had somebody
like
go
crazy,
back in, they did the body work for me, repainted it. And that car was my favorite until I threw a piston through the motor block.
You too. I threw a rod. Yeah, I threw a rod through it, and then we finished it off at the dealership. I worked at Toyota dealership as a porter at the time, and I finished it off. I was just like, it was like knocking, and I was just like, and it was like boom, it like blew up. Which is not a good idea.
That's exactly what happened. I was downshifting, coming down a hill, and it just went kabloom.
Yeah, but it had tons of miles on it.
Station.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite cars. It was ugly, but mine was a cream puff that I actually traded an 8990 Ford Ranger for it. And it was really pretty red, but it had like high 200,000 miles on it. So engine, they'll give out eventually. Especially who knows the history on it. If you're not babying it since day one, you don't know when it's gonna go. But it's I did some drifting into a curb in that thing, broke the control arm. Me and my buddy, and my parents listen to my podcast, by the way, so I don't think they've heard this story before. So we just it was it was at my apartment complex. There's this area out there where there's a place where you could kind of kick it sideways, but then there's gravel. I hit a gravel patch and slid right into a curb, busted the control arm, tie rods, all that stuff snapped. But I was in school to be a mechanic at Universal Technical Institute, so we fixed it pretty easily, just me and my buddy.
So it was a learning opportunity.
It was a learning opportunity. How to fix a control arm and a tie rod and alignment.
Self-made learning opportunity. You were way
Nobody died.
Way before your time.
Nobody died that I know of.
Right.
My buddy Steve was with me. Steve-O. He actually had to drop out of school because one of his friends passed away, and they wouldn't give him the right amount of time or something. So he said peace. He was out of school, and I haven't seen him. Well, I just saw him a couple of years ago. We met up, and that was amazing. But now he's a crew chief. He's a crew chief for a GT3 Lamborghini team. He's a crew chief.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
It doesn't matter, like if you had to get out of school or drop out or you couldn't do this. Like he is a very determined person. So. He's got tattoos like all over his body, on his face. He's got tattoos on his face and stuff like that too. But I love Steve. I can still consider him one of my best friends. We just don't see each other very often because we move far away. But but yeah, I was able to go see him down in Portland the Speedway down in Portland. Forget what it's called. Was that PIR or something like that? But yeah, he's racing out there, and those GT3 cars are amazing. And it was awesome to be able to like chill with them in the pit. That thing rolls in. They've got the little hydraulics on the bottom of them. The car just lifts itself up. They get underneath it. They swap brakes out, whatever, tires. So, and he's just bossing people around and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, Steve, you did it. You did it, Peter. So yeah, he's awesome. Really, made a life for himself just doing what he loves. He's an incredible mechanic, and I got out of it. Like, well, I did it for 3-4 years, and then I just like, I don't like working on cars nearly as much as I like dealing with people. So it's hard on my body, my back. I don't have the best back and stuff like that, knees. So I was like, I'm going to get out of this. I looked at some other guys around me just doing the dealer thing, mechanics and stuff, and they were pretty miserable human beings. Just because of, not all of them, but some of those guys were pretty beat up just from what it does to their body. And I worked with a guy that was just a major jerk. He was terrible, and at Toyota. And he just kind of made me not want to work there. And I worked on alignment rack too. So I was working on Toyotas, it just didn't work out. You couldn't work on a lot of things on an alignment rack, dude. Just like so I was like, I'm out of here. And, it all happened for a reason because, if they would have put me with another guy in the shop, I'd probably still be wrenching today. I don't know. Because there's other guys in the shop that were way more helpful. But for me, he got me out of it because I was just like, I don't want to be like this guy. He's not helpful. I'm not learning much. And it was fine because I'm where I need to be, now. And,
absolutely.
It all happens for a reason.
You're in a good place. You're taking care of yourself. You have a soon-to-be beautiful wife, and
yes,
things are good. And you got to remember that on the bad days, on the gloomy days, and you kind of got to look back and think about the good.
Yeah,
for sure.
And sometimes you got to think about the bad too, and all that too. But
you learn from the bad.
Yeah,
you learn from the experiences. You take the good with the bad. I did it for 27 years. I don't regret it. Had a beautiful daughter from it, and her and I are still very good friends.
Yeah,
I mean, I go over. She helps me out when I need help, and I do stuff for them when they need it. If I'm physically able to, it just as we get older here, the things that we used to do, we can't do so much anymore.
Yeah, man. I'm only 37, and I'm already starting to hear that. It's frustrating.
Yeah. I abused my body I abused my body over the years, and I dabbled as a power lifter in high school. And,
oh, wow.
I was one of those no-neck guys.
Yeah. It's actually how I hurt my back, too, is I was doing clean and jerk, and my lower back just kind of tweaked on me, and I dropped the weight on my knees and tweaked my back and everything. Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, I was starting to really get into it, but I was like,
most
after
of my
that,
damage came from sports.
Yeah. What sports did you play?
Both knees, both shoulders, broke my jaw.
Broke your jaw?
But I wrestled in high school, middle school and high school. Mm-hmm. I was one of those kids that was in that weird weight. Back then, the heavyweight bracket was from 215 to 275, which is a huge gap. If you know anything about wrestling,
that's a pretty big gap. It's not like 20 pounds, 30 pounds.
Right. And I was one of those guys who tried sucking weight and it just didn't work. I just, I had to eat. I was a carbs guy. Meat and potatoes were my meals.
Yeah. Bacon.
But we were at practice, and I was wrestling with a guy that was 275 pounds, and in high school at that point I was only 220. and I lifted him like a bear hug from the back, and I went to throw him. And as we both went down, he put his elbow back to brace himself, and his elbow happened to land on my jaw. Ooh. So as we hit, my head hit the mat, his elbow hit my jaw.
Wow. And I can hear it.
Yeah, the rest was history.
Ow, that sucks.
So yeah, I went into shock. I don't remember much after a certain point.
Thank God.
Nobody really saw what happened, so they didn't know. So they sat me up against the wall, just to get myself back together. And
go back in there. You're like, no.
On the ride home, on the school bus, the coaches were talking to me. The one noticed that I wasn't moving my mouth so good. And I got back to school. The trainer took a look at it and made a phone call to my parents. Said, pick them up, take them to the hospital. So
that sucks.
I broke my jaw. That was, I think, a week before my 16th birthday. So I spent my 16th birthday and Christmas with my jaw wired shut.
Oh, you sound like Kanye, Kanye when he broke his jaw. Except for you weren't rapping. That I know of.
And the worst part was, being in shock and going in. I don't remember going to the hospital. I don't remember anything. But apparently, when I was in recovery, I panicked and threw my mouth open. Oof. And ripped all the wires out. So they had to put me back under to rewire everything, and that started a catastrophic chain of events where it tore the enamel off the inside of my teeth, where the wires were. And over the years, it became the dentists were like, "You're going to be lucky if you keep your teeth to your 20s." And I actually held on to them when I was in my 30s. So,
nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it's not a fun thing.
No, doesn't sound like a fun thing.
So anyway, again, football, wrestling. I was track in the spring. I did the field events, shot put, discus, javelin. So yeah,
jack of all trades. I did shot put.
That's always been my motto. The old saying, being a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, that's me too.
But the thing is, I've always felt like you should always have. You should always be able to be self-sufficient. And again, going back to the my influences in my life, my grandfathers who, did everything for themselves and were self-taught. And, my dad was the same way. He fixed his own cars. He taught me how to change the brakes in the Celica. Mm-hmm. So, and it was, I always felt like, and I guess I can contribute to some of it being stingy. Yeah. Because why should I pay somebody else to do something that I could actually do myself?
Yeah, and it's not even that hard, really.
Right, and a lot of times it just, it really is. I mean, if you take the time and you learn, and if you have the basics. Mm-hmm. I was lucky enough to be one of the last group of students that had a shop class.
Oh, yeah.
And we had wood shop, and we literally had wood shop, and I actually almost lost my finger there. My best friend and I were
without the gunpowder. There wasn't even any gunpowder involved.
No, there was no gunpowder involved with this one. This was an 18-inch sanding disc that kind of sucked my finger in.
Yikes!
Yeah, that was not fun. But it just again, you learn, you live and you learn.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. I think we've all had close calls in our lives, and I've had a buddy lose a finger using a bandsaw and he's lost his pinky and the chunk of his other finger. So
that was my shop teacher. He was missing 2 fingers. I think all shop teachers.
Yeah, I think shop teachers.
They all were missing some appendage.
Yeah, their interviews like, how many fingers you got? They're like, I've got 10. You're like, we can't use you here.
You have 9.5.
Yeah, I have 9.5. Ooh, that's better. You're experienced or dumb. I don't know. One of the two or both.
Oh man. Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you want for Christmas, Bruce? I mean, you're always giving people stuff, so I'm gonna let people hear what you might like as a gift.
to be honest, you said that on your podcast, and I started thinking about it, and they're really. I know it's going to sound odd, but I'm one of those people that just
doesn't like to get gifts.
I'm good with what I have. The girls ask me all the time, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? And I'm like, just get me something that's from you.
Yeah, but what about customs,
I'm
Bruce?
very sentimental. What's that?
What about customs? I mean, customs are a great gift to give somebody. And
absolutely. I mean, I have Jay's, and Jay's is the only custom that I have.
That's
that
a problem.
From somebody else.
That's a problem. We need to fix that.
And again, I'm more of I don't want to receive anything without having something to give in return. So if you're going to make a custom for me, I want to be able to send you one as well, or not you just you generally, but in general. Yeah,
we know that you want that, but that's not necessarily going to be the case, Bruce. We're just going to send you some customs, and you're going to have to deal with it.
And I'm going to give little hints out here that there are some customs that are getting ready that I've been working on. Certain people, I want to make sure that I nail what I'm doing. And there's some things that I'm waiting for. I was talking to Jay the other day through text, and I was telling him, some of the things that I plan on doing. My printer died, so I actually have not been able to print my own labels. No. So what I'm doing is I'm saving up, and I'm going to make an investment in a laser printer and white toner, so that not only can I take care of myself, but I can take care of guys like Jay and other guys out there that are looking for white toner decals that just may not have the resources or just don't know where to get them from. And that's another thing that you hear about all these guys I'll send so and so sent me a set of decals, and you're like, well, how do you get them? I'm willing to buy them, but you reach out to people and they don't answer you back, and you're like,
You're like, come on, answer me.
Yeah, there's so many things that I'm waiting to do that I'm just missing like one or two key pieces, and that's just a matter of time and finances.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the case a lot of times.
It's coming, and like I said, the first step is me actually getting the cojones together tonight to throw this video together. And there may not be a voiceover; it may just be a silent video. I don't know. Just doing this and knowing that my voice is being recorded and that you're going to put it up is freaking me out.
Yeah,
because I don't like my voice.
Well,
recorded.
Dude, like none of us do.
I don't like the sound of it.
No, I don't like mine either. Like, I'm hearing it in my headphones right now, and I don't really like it that much. I've grown to like it more.
I can't hear my voice, so it's a good thing. But I just, it's
don't listen to it.
But I gotta listen to it.
Yeah, I guess
you gotta get the view.
Yeah. Just turn it on and then just mute it and then just give it a thumbs up and pounce. Dude, I don't listen to my own podcasts. I mean,
just saying that there are some folks that some channels that I don't get an opportunity to watch all of their videos, and I'll go back through and I'll open their channel
and just let them roll.
And I'll just I'll lay down in bed and I'll just let it roll all night long, just so that it helps them with their analytics and it gets them a little more, gets them out there more. And I do it
that
more
helps
with
a lot, man.
Smaller channels. The smaller channels that may not necessarily have a lot of views.
Yeah, or a lot of content too. A lot of the smaller channels don't necessarily have a lot of content.
Right, right, and that's just getting them the view time and the air time kind of helps a lot.
It's really important because like when you're starting out, like when I was starting out, and even a couple of my other channels, because I have a detailing channel that I haven't put much effort into because I'm not living in a good spot.
You're busy.
God, busy.
You're thinking about moving.
Yeah.
You guys are looking into moving. You're getting married in 2 months. What else can you throw in your plate?
Yeah, exactly. But I realize that. So, but there, like when you're starting out, regardless, like when I started my diecast channel, it's just you're looking at every single hour that is because it shows you on your analytics like how many hours people have watched, and you're watching every view, every subscriber, every hour, and it's very exciting, but it's also very frustrating. And it's very frustrating, but keep your head up. The people that have the smaller channels, I'll help you, and a lot of us will help you wherever we can by watching them, liking, commenting, sharing. But do not be demanding or expecting that from people, because no one owes you anything.
Make your videos, put them up, and forget about them.
Yeah.
Don't go back and look at them every 5 minutes. Don't go back every day. Don't go back don't go back once a week. Just put it up, and then, give yourself a schedule. Maybe once a month you'll check your analytics to make sure that you're doing everything properly.
Yeah.
And then if you do get comments, read the comments and respond.
Respond
to
them all.
That is the biggest thing that if there's a channel, and I don't care how big it is or how small it is, if the creator takes the time to sit down and read and respond, even if it's a thumbs up or a
they read it. They read it.
They read it. You know that they're engaged with their subscribers, and they actually care about what they're doing. You go to these channels that I won't even give the time of day, but they have their comments turned off.
Yeah, because they don't want to deal with it.
Right. And it's like, well, why aren't you subscribing? Well, because you're a DB. I don't like you. I don't like what you stand for, and
Yeah, and just you don't need to give them. You don't need to talk bad about them. You don't need to whatever, but you just don't need to give them. I mean, there's those channels, and even in the diecast ones, there's the really big ones that I don't really give much time to, because they've, like you said, they've got comments turned off. They don't. If they do have comments turned on, they don't respond to you, or you're just noticing that they don't respond to anybody.
There's really big ones that, for a fact. You got these guys that have, God, I don't even remember how many subscribers Marty has now, but I think he's got over 150,000, or no, I think he's almost at 300,000 subscribers.
That's a lot.
You don't expect him to be able to go through every single comment in a live stream.
Yeah.
If they're like with Derek's live streams or your live streams or anybody that's got more than a handful of subscribers, don't go into somebody's live stream and
expect them to see
say
your
hi.
Hello.
Right.
Yeah.
And then get
200.
Excuse my friend, get butthurt because they didn't answer you, and then you start spamming them. Number one, you're going to make yourself look like a jerk.
Yeah.
And number two, it turns off the creator.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not dealing with this guy. What's he going to do next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a non-creator's point of view. Just sitting back in the stands and watching what happens, and years of watching YouTube videos and being parts of different communities, and it's all the same. It's all a cycle, and you'll see the same patterns in every single community, no matter what you're involved in. Yeah. There's people out there that care. There's people out there that give. And they make the core. Mm-hmm. They make the core of that community, and they're the ones that you need to focus on, and they're the ones that you need to, pat on the back and say, hey, thank you. And a lot of times it's not even about giving them something.
No, it's acknowledging them.
I appreciate what you do for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about you. I mean,
thank you.
And Derek does the same thing. When I make a comment, you guys are, always there, and you always answer. Even if it's something stupid, even if I make a stupid, silly comment, you laugh at it.
Yeah, just like a pity laugh, like via text, like, "Oh, Bruce, you're so funny. You're the best." And you're just sitting there like, "Yes, I am the best."
Yeah, I sit here and flex, like,
staring out the window. Yes, I am the best.
Rain slowly driving down, fire going in the fireplace, which I don't have.
Your books made of rich mahogany.
Thinking of that I was thinking about one of the channels that I was thinking about creating was Uncle Bruce's Story Time, and coming up with just sitting in ideally would have a rocking chair with a fireplace in the background, and sitting there telling stories of just making stories up of, you have a diecast, and you just make up this
where the car came from.
Right, who owned the car, where it came from,
what
it's been through. Yeah.
I love it, man. Do it. Like that. You should make that your first video, man.
Nah, it just, the problem is setup time, doing it, editing. Again, I know everybody harps on just, use your phone, use the editing tools on your phone. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I've been,
you know what, man? I will make a video.
I was in the technology field for so long. I was a tech in, a high school classroom, a high school, TV lab is what it was.
Yeah.
So that got my feet wet with Adobe Premiere way back then, and watching the editing and knowing and myself knowing how to edit and what is involved with editing actual film, and then going back and putting pieces. And I know what's involved in doing something that is really going to stand out and something that people are going to be like, oh my God, wow. And that again goes back to me being a procrastinating perfectionist.
Yeah.
I know what I need to do. I know what needs to be put together. Putting the time to do that, sitting down and instead of watching YouTube videos, actually editing. And I can actually do both because I do have a setup. I have my PC and then I have a monitor next to me that I have a Chromecast hooked up to because I did have 2 units and one of them died and it no longer...
Man, all your electronics are dying, Bruce. Excuse me.
What's that?
I said all your electronics are dying on you lately. Printer.
Yeah. I mean, before I built the rig that I have now, the one I built previously lasted 11 years. So hopefully this one will last me at least 6. Because technology, again, we live in a throwaway society.
Yeah,
I know you hear that, but everything that you buy, I'm a guy that tinkers. I'd like to try and repair my own stuff, but you can't do it anymore.
No,
because number one, you can't find parts.
Yeah,
you can't find parts for it, and if you do find parts for it, they make it so impossible to actually fix that you really can't.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah,
but I was able to get a new circuit board for my fridge and a new circuit board for my dryer. And a new pump for my washer. I replaced that. So, I mean, I'm keeping things going, man. I'm just trying to sell my house. So it's like, I don't want to buy a new washer and dryer and fridge for something I'm gonna sell the house. I mean, like, I want to buy that for my new house,
And something that most likely the new owners are going to get rid of anyway.
Yeah, quite possibly. Or they'll keep them, like I did. Because I'm cheap.
When you move into a new house, it has a washer and dryer. How old is it?
Yeah.
And then you get people you get people out there that are germaphobes, and they're like, well, somebody else used this.
Yeah, so kind of gross.
I'm not going to use that.
Yeah, because I'm probably I'm like washing Hot Wheels in there and all that kind of stuff. No, I've never done that before, but
I can imagine throwing like a sock full of Hot Wheels in your washer.
Just
clankety clankety.
Yeah.
And poor Kimber's in there. Oh God, here he goes washing the Hot Wheels again.
What are you doing? No, she would be. I mean, that wouldn't surprise her. But no, we do wash a lot of doing detailing. Like we wash a bunch of gross rags and stuff like that too. So we got to clean that thing. We got to clean that thing because all that people are gross who detail their cars. People are just really gross, But, really gross. But luckily enough, my cars, the ones I do, are pretty nice.
I'm one of them. I wait till the very last minute to clean my car. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's filthy.
I was watching a comedian the other night talking about how trail mix was invented. And it was invented by a parent who took the car seat out of the car and scooped everything out from in between the seats.
Yep.
Took out the lint and the Band-Aid and I would eat this.
Yeah. Got some Cheerios. Got some raisins. I think these are raisins.
Raisins, some granola.
Yikes. Derek loves when I go, yikes! It's one of my... Yeah, I started doing that at work and stuff like that too. It's like I've got these little key things I do, and everybody picks up on them, even at work, because I sing everything out. Like just passive aggressively or aggressive, whatever you want to call it, just like, stay at your desk and do your job. I'm just like, it's just like all these like different songs, your customers at your desk, just like they're all, and then people pick up on them and they start singing them. But, I really want to make like a show that's called Service, or like a dealership show. Like, write out a script for that, because that would kill it. You got Seinfeld, you have The Office, but like a show just about all the characters in a dealership, because they're all like similar. Everybody has that tech that like throws tools and has like anger management issues, and then there's like the sales guys that are just like over the top. Some of them kind of creepy. Just like being creeps.
Oh man, yeah, I can relate to that.
So that would be, I don't know. I just need to pull the trigger and like write something down.
I think. That would actually be pretty funny.
It would be very funny, dude, because like the stuff that we deal with every day, the phone calls, I scrub a lot of that stuff, man, from my memory. Like, I go at the end of the day, like, especially Kimber comes and grabs me, and I get in the car, and she can usually tell, like, by the look on my face how good of or bad of a day that I had.
What kind of day you've had.
Yeah, or just like, and a lot of times, sometimes it's just at the very end of the day, that person just like, it's 6 o'clock, the doors are closing, and someone's like sneaks in, like, oh, thank goodness you're still, open. Yeah. You're like, I'm not. Like, we're closed. We're shutting the doors. Like, my tire light's on, and I don't know. And it's like these first world problems that these people have. My Bluetooth doesn't work. It hasn't worked for 2 days, and I don't know how I'm supposed to survive.
I can't turn on my heated seats.
Yeah, my heated seats, and I'm chilly. I'm so cold. Does your regular heat still work? Yes, but it's not the same. So it's like if stuff goes down in the U.S., there's just going to be this large group of people. We lose power, we lose whatever, internet. People, there's going to be this large group of people that they're just not going to make it, man. They're just not going to make it. And,
no, they're not.
And you see these people on a consistent basis. You're like, you just like size them up. You're like, you're not going to make it if we ever have anything. Like a flood or tsunami, so, but it kind of wears on you sometimes, but you can't let it bug you. Like when I go home, I just try to like, it comes in waves though. It's like, I've been doing this for like 12 years now or something like that. Probably 11, 12 years. And I'm pretty much, I don't know, I'm at the tail end of it. Like, I don't know if you've heard me talk about starting my own detail company. Like a mobile detail. I'm really passionate about it. I really enjoy, especially people with nicer cars. Let's say you had like a Supra or you had like a Lamborghini. I did my buddy's Lamborghini. I just like to make a car that like people really like. Bring it back to life. Bring their paint back to life. Clean their interior with like a fine, tooth and with a. I can't talk today. But yeah, just make people super happy. I did my buddy's old Corolla. And, like most people wouldn't think much of that car. I like it. It's like 81 or something like that, little boxy thing. But, I took it. It was all dingy. It had algae growing on it. It had, like, the paint was brown, but it was just disgusting, Like, he never detailed it. The interior I touched a little bit, but it was mostly for the exterior. But I did a paint restoration on it. And, man, I think you're on Instagram, so... if you look at my on the mark detail, you'll see that I brought the paint back to life, and he was just beyond. And I spent a lot of extra time on that car because I knew how much he loves that car. So, right. But he was just like posting pictures all the time, cruising around town, just like chest pumped up, like I got my, look at this thing, So, yeah, it's cool to do that. And then you have cars that you don't, you have minivans or SUVs and stuff like that. But realistically, it doesn't matter. Everybody loves their car. Most everybody loves their cars, especially like even soccer moms, they got a minivan. They love their minivan, It's like they enjoy driving it. The kids like it. So, to make something like, just like you, doing restorations on old diecast, to make something like that somebody's ready to like throw out or give away, to make it like new again.
Bring new life back.
Yeah, bring new life back into it. And then watch somebody's face, when you give it back to them. And they're like, right. Wow, you got like everything. And I'm like showing them I got in the gas door, I got in the, every little crevice of this car. And yeah, it was gross, but your car is clean. So it's kind of It's kind of a servant thing too, but of course you're getting paid for it, but sometimes not nearly enough. Sometimes
it's more about satisfaction. I mean, you get the satisfaction out of seeing their reaction and then knowing that the job that you did actually made somebody smile or made them happy.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they'll find that gunpowder surprise in their cup holder.
I'm not living that one down.
No, just keep going back to gunpowder. Just like in my mind, and like I'm just like thinking about where can I get some gunpowder. I just want to be like Bruce.
Oh man.
Yeah. So who was your most influential person when it comes to like getting into diecast? Was it probably that channel you're talking about, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean Marty actually. He is, and if you've never watched his videos, you need to do it.
Send me a link, man. Just send me a link.
Yeah, I will,
and I'll watch it.
And you have to watch the progression from when he started. I mean, he's got thousands of videos, but he actually makes it into a production. I mean, it's an actual. You watch it and you're like, wow. He makes a show out of it.
Sure.
And his work is he's amazing. His work that he does is top notch.
Yeah.
Him and another influential person is Jim Silva.
Oh yeah, I do subscribe to him. Yeah. Just
his personality alone. Jim is like one of those guys that I could see myself hanging out with, and having a little bit of a nice tea. Would you say? And just having a good time talking and laughing.
Some tea and crumpets, basically, is what you're trying to say.
No. I'm talking about the tea from Long Island.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say, dude. Tea and crumpets. Rapping his mouth.
There's quite a few people. I mean, I appreciate somebody that has an attention to detail.
Yeah.
I appreciate somebody that takes the time and actually tries. I know you mentioned 3D Bot Maker before.
Mm-hmm.
I love their channel. They're great. Or he's great. I just found out recently that it's a one-man show.
Yeah.
He's amazing at what he does, production level, and just it's entertaining. I like to be entertained. When I come home from work, I want to turn my brain off.
Yeah.
It's it's a high stressful job. It's nonstop. Even though I work supposedly only 5.5 hours a day, it truly is a full-time job.
I get it, man. I get it. 11 hours. I work 11 hours straight.
Well, and
high intensity.
This time of the year is when the hours really pick up, and
holiday
you're
season.
taking something that is a lot to do in 3.5 hours, and you're stretching it out for 9-10 hours.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, by the end of the week, you're physically and mentally drained. Like right now, I was saying, till January, Saturday is literally the only day that I'm going to have off. Saturdays, and then Christmas Day.
That's tough. But I really, one second, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on my podcast today, because I know you don't have much time, so that means a lot to me that you were able to get onto the podcast.
This is something that I actually look forward to doing. Just talking to you and getting in your brain and getting it out there, and
it's a dangerous place in here, Bruce.
Letting people hear, letting other content creators understand, the point of view of their fan. There's somebody that's a subscriber, and the things that I appreciate that they do, and sometimes don't always get told that.
Yeah, it's nice, and I appreciate it, and I like. Like I've said before in my comments, I like when people get deep in their comments sometimes too, like the nice little emojis and stuff like that's cool, but I like hearing and you can email me and we can talk on email and stuff like that, but I get hit up really a lot in my DM and for Dots and Man and Hot Wheels for Hope, and it's a little overwhelming sometimes because people get mad if I don't reply to them there. But I like email more, just for you guys that are listening. My Hot Wheels for Hope at gmail.com, because I have a system. I can star things, come back around to them, and I've got more of a system there, and where I can touch everybody and reply to everybody, But yeah, it's like I like when people get, you know, deep, especially in comments, and they can put it out there. You know, they don't care. They're like, you know, I suffered from depression, or I've been doing this. This video helped me. Thanks for the laugh. You know, that kind of stuff. Because I like to know people and like where they come from, and we're all flawed human beings. We all have our own vices and issues and problems that we're dealing with on a daily basis. But if we can help each other out at all, that's amazing, because you don't have to go to a psychiatrist necessarily, or, you know, shrink to like figure out all the problems or get help, you know, from people. We have people around you, you know, that will help you, and you have people like you know, like Bruce right here, that, you know, and a large group of people that we put a gift together for Nas, and he'll post a video eventually, but I told him, like, because Nas' dad just passed away, and we all love Nas, and
it's crazy that I'm so close to him, and we still haven't met each other yet.
Yeah, that's crazy. You should, because I want to fly out there and meet Nas, and I can meet you too. Yeah. I mean, but I really want to meet Nas too, and Maggie, and but you know, he's going through a really tough time. So for anybody that's following or subscribing to Nas, go give him some kind words. Go watch his videos. But, you know, don't bug him about a giveaway right now. I saw somebody on Instagram bugging him about a giveaway, like his giveaway right now. I was about to, like, we were talking back to the beginning of the podcast where you get mad, you know, where that's like, right. That's my homie right there. And you're bugging him, and he just replied like, hey man, I just buried my dad a couple of days ago. I'm not worried about a giveaway. And the guy was like, oh, sorry man, you know. But if you watched his last video, you would know he was very open about everything, raw, that happened to him. So you are just looking for a free giveaway item. That's what you're doing, because you didn't watch his last video where he said, hey, I got some stuff I got to deal with. I will give this away, but I'm going to need some time. So, but you know, for the group of people that I got together that I know love Nas, we got him a gift that we knew he could hang on his wall, and he can think about us. And I'm not telling you guys this because no one's trying to like pat themselves on the back, because that's not why I did it. That's not why we did it. Everybody gave to this thing, but it's just because we want Nas to know that we love him, you know, and have something on his wall to say, like, if he's getting like depressed or whatever, because I cannot imagine what it's like losing your dad, you know. I've almost, you know, my dad had open heart surgery, and I was really worried about losing him then. But my parents are very special to me. I'm very close with them, so I can't imagine. So during these dark times with Nas, I know it's like he's gonna get in, you know, these spots where he's like, you know, it gets really dark, you know. But he can like go in his little Hot Wheel room. He's like his really cool room has all kinds of toys in there, because he's been collecting his whole life, and he can look on the wall and see our gift and say, those guys are there for me, you know? And that's what I told him, and he appreciated it. He said he got very emotional. No one's ever done that for him in his life. Really, you know, his friends have never done that for him. So just because you don't know somebody, you haven't met somebody in person, or you just know them online, you can still be good friends with that person. I have several friends. I have handfuls of friends I've never met, and some of them are some of my best friends, you know? Because they're always like Luis, the guy that I was just talking about down in California that I got. Did you see the BRE video where I got the from David? Yeah, that was sweet. Yeah, from Danny Taylor. Yeah, so that was so funny when I figured out it wasn't, his name's not Danny Taylor, it's David. Yeah, he's David #1 too. He wants to make sure everyone knows.
Using his daughter's account.
Yeah, same with Eddie. Eddie was using his daughter's account for. I don't know if you remember that, but he was using his daughter's account for quite some time, and so I was like, who is this chick? Like, I mean, like, and it was like, but then he would sign it like Eddie, like, and then you'd be like, oh, he's using his daughter's account. But Danny, whatever his name is, David, he would never do that, so he'd never correct you. So you'd be like, hey, thanks, Danny, and he wouldn't even say anything. So it was like that much funnier, because it's like, you know, it's like, this is not Danny Taylor. But yeah, he sent me those BRE, and it was perfect timing. Like, he sent me 2 of them, and my buddy down in California, Luis, that I've never met, he's a Datsun buddy. He's got 2 Datsun 510s. He's got a beautiful two-door, and then he's got a wagon that he's working on with his kids, with his son and daughter. But he he was just asking me for one of those. He's like, hey man, if you run into one of those, like, I would love to pay you whatever and get one for me, because there's so many scalpers down here in California, and he can't ever get anything 510 related. It's all gone. So they were just like the day before, and then I get two of those. So I'm like, instantly, I'm like, this is going to Luis, and he's not paying me a dime for anything, because of course it was a gift to me. And even if I found it, or found one or two of them, I still wouldn't charge him for it, because he's been a supporter of me whatever I do. He's like one of my hype men, Like, we all need like hype men in life, where they're just supporters. I mean, he shared my charity thing recently, that and then one of his homies donated like over $100 towards it, So yeah, man, it's like life's about relationships, So yeah,
that's it, and building those relationships. Yeah, absolutely.
And absolutely. I feel like I'm building a relationship with you being on the podcast. I mean, it's been a blessing to have you on here, man. I'm really excited to have you on here. Yeah, I
appreciate you actually. Just even thinking about here again. I'm not a creator. I'm not on YouTube. I'm not there and in people's faces.
Out in your face.
But just the fact that you thought of me and you think of me on that level, and it getting all mushy now, and
no. Yeah. You're all mushy.
But I appreciate you. I really do. You're one of those people. And I did tell you the story of when, first time I saw you, when you first posted your first video, that intro. I watched the intro and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's going to be so annoying. And then I watched it through. And then I watched your second video. And then I watched your third video. And I'm like, yo, this guy is a piss. So, I mean, you grow on people, and anybody that hasn't had an opportunity to watch you. And again, why I'm not big on Instagram, and I'm not big on Facebook. So
yeah, me neither.
I reach out to maybe 50 people.
Yeah.
But just the fact that, when you sent me the mug and your sticker and the cards, it just winning that giveaway. Just being able to put it out there and showing my appreciation for you. And I did the same thing for Jay. Mm-hmm. I put him out there, and I let everybody know how I feel about you guys, and what it means to be on the receiving end. Because again, you send stuff out to people, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
You don't hear back. You don't hear from the people that received them.
Yeah.
And if you do, you really don't get to see or hear what they have to say. You see it with creators.
Mm-hmm.
when you guys receive gifts, or the random acts of kindness and the mail calls, and you get to physically see that. But the people without channels that it happens to, the people that don't have channels, that can't record the reactions, it's just nice to know that it's appreciated and to put it out there. So if you have an Instagram account, follow me. Mine is usually it's Zollo to you.
Yeah, follow Bruce, because he's a good dude.
I talked about it before, about creating a separate channel, and the more I think about it, it's just I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to post what I have. My Instagram and my Facebook involves my family. Mm-hmm. People from my past. So it really doesn't, at this point, it doesn't bother me to put up a more personal side of myself.
Yeah, sure. Do whatever you want to do. I mean, I have like 4 or 5 accounts, man. So like, if you want to stay at one, but I mean, I have 4 or 5. I probably have 5 Instagram accounts. So don't be afraid to do that either, because it's not hard.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to flood, I guess you would say. I don't want to be one of those people that put up so many that people just don't pay attention to it. Like, another.
No, don't worry about that though. I mean, it's an infinite like space to put things up. I mean, I have like my auto photography page. That's a larger one, and then I have like my personal photography page. I have Dots Man Diecast. I have Hot Wheels for Hope, and then I have my personal one too, which I don't really share with many people, because it's
Right.
like I don't really post on there that much, and I don't even really go on there that much. Basically, I'm just sending Kimber memes all day long, and she's sending them back to me, and we're just laughing.
That's exactly what my Instagram is. My daughter does the same thing to me.
Yeah, we're just sending each other videos and stuff,
memes and stuff that she thought was funny.
Yeah. So I mean,
or she'll call me in the middle of my workday and tell me a dad joke.
Yeah, exactly. That's a nice little midday laugh, you know, a good dad joke, you know. But don't be afraid to create an account too, for diecast stuff, because sometimes it's nice to. I mean, when you see some of these, like when you see celebrity, and I'm not comparing myself to a celebrity whatsoever, but you see celebrities out there, you like. They don't have a personal life, a lot of them, you know. They used to, but now everything is out there, and everybody knows everything about these celebrities and stuff. And I feel bad for them, you know, because it's like they should have their own, you know, and especially, I mean, some of them, you know, I'm not going to say anyone deserves anything, because some of them are really just not very nice people. A lot of celebrities they're not down to earth. But when you meet the cool ones, or you know about the ones that are really cool, you know, just like Keanu Reeves rides the bus, you know, and some people have some of them have like kind of a 9-to-5 jobs. Like they're different from the rest of celebrities, but give people their space, though. I mean, it's just
we lost that. We lost that in the technology. We lost that in the technology age. People no longer have privacy. I mean, when you're a public figure, that's exactly what you are. You're a public figure. And people tend to forget that, you know, you're also human. You're also somebody that you're a dad, you're a mom, you're a sister, you're you know, they forget the human aspect of it, and they see what they see on the screen, and they expect them to relate with them based on what they're seeing on a screen. You know, this person doesn't know you from Adam. They you know, you could walk down the street, they walk by you and be like, oh, hey, you're one of my fans. No, that's not reality. Yeah. You know, it's ridiculous. Another story for another time. I did rub elbows with a couple people in my past that were pro athletes, and you know, talking to them, and you know, just some of the getting to know them. It just, you know, that we'll have that conversation another day, because there's some situations that I don't think need to be put out in public.
Okay. But, yeah. Bruce is wanted in at least 30 states.
I think I was going through the other day when we texted and you were talking about, you know, when you initially thought about bringing me on. And I was thinking about things that, you know, I wanted to talk to you about and get to know you by. And I was actually going back through my life, you know, and thinking about some of the things that I would, you know, talk about, and some of the things that I know that I definitely shouldn't be talking about. I actually realized that, you know, and a lot of people, I encourage them to do this and sit back and just take a day and look back at your life and focus on the positive. Focus on the good things that have happened.
Yep.
I've actually I'll be 50 next month, and I've actually had a pretty damn good life. Yeah. It's been rough. There's been times where, you know, things weren't so great, but there's been more times that you think about and you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that, or, oh my God, I completely forgot about that. Going back to dads. I lost my dad almost 15 years to the day that Nas lost his. Wow. So on a personal level, I could relate to where he was coming from, because I had just recently gotten promoted. Yeah. I was a new management person, and the kindness that was shown to me by my boss, by my district manager, he had lost his mother to cancer. Mm-hmm. And he pulled me into his office and he said, listen, you take as much time as you need, and don't worry about your job. You'll have it when you come back. Exactly. That's a really nice thing to say. It's rare. It's rare in corporate America anymore. Yeah, it's very rare. You won't get that. But, you know, there's so many influences, so many influential people in my life that have molded me into the person that I am today. Mm-hmm. And we're really just scratching the surface. I mean, I could go on for hours talking about the stuff that I've seen and the stuff that I've done. And I'm not I'm not, what was it, what was his name?
The Who?
Trying to think. I'm drawing a blank here.
You are turning 50, man.
It's not like having an OMD moment. It's just, I haven't lived a sheltered life, but I also haven't lived a perfect life.
None of us have. Not even the people that you think have perfect lives. They really don't. It's not even close.
Right. And getting to that, it's, you don't know what people go through. You don't know the person on the other side, and you really don't know what's going on in their life, or even in their own head, for that matter.
No, you don't.
So,
you know what they're dealing with.
Take a second and think before you speak. Or take a second and think before you react.
Or where you type something, too, just online. It's so
exactly.
You had the opportunity to type it out and then read it and then say, no, that's not positive at all. That's just ripping this person. And you can delete it. You can just go, and I've done that before. I think we've all been to the point where we've typed something out and you're just this isn't.
I've literally typed out entire 2 or 3 page letters that I was ripping somebody apart.
Yeah.
I went back and read it, and I'm like, no, and deleted the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do.
Going on to that, the reason that I enjoyed Derek so much when I first started watching his channel is how pure he is, and how pure he comes across, and what he is actually trying to purvey to everybody with just the name in itself, Honest Diecast. Here we are the minority. We are the group of individuals that truly do care about everybody, about our circle. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle every day to try and make people understand what it's like to actually do things the right way. And the challenges that it takes to turn your cheek, like you said, turn the other cheek. Or
it's tough. It's way harder than throwing a fist. I mean, to turn the other cheek.
Right. Or refrain from, being, here you are. You find, how many times has he had the opportunity? He's found how many supers over the years? Oh, so many. He could have been one of the ones that's selling them on eBay for $135, $150, but instead, he's promoting, giving them to each other, taking care of each other first. And you're the same way. Yeah. I would rather give something to somebody who I feel would appreciate it instead of being able to rake in the money, because it's very, very easy.
Oh, sure. It's very easy to put it on eBay, Mercari,
you throw up an account and nobody knows who you are.
Yeah. You got to live with it, though. I mean, it's
right. And again, it goes. It's about having that guilty conscience and having that little creepy cricket sitting on your shoulder saying, "Yo, don't do that."
But a lot of people don't. They don't have that. They don't even have that because they don't care. They're looking for number one. But the only thing we can do to change that is first not to buy stuff from scalpers, like especially super treasure hunts and stuff like that. But just to keep talking about it, just to keep talking about it, educate. Yeah, to correct basically too. It's just like your kids, you're not going to
And again, it's going to be one of those things that it's never going to go away. It never will.
No,
because
there's always going to be greed.
We live in a society full of greed, and people that are too lazy to actually work for a living. So the easiest way to make money, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But you can knock it down to a point where it's not as in your face as it is now.
Yeah.
If you continue to give and continue to put things at face value and not give into the want of, here's an opportunity for me to make a couple bucks. I'm a guy that lives paycheck to paycheck. So to see something like that, it does take a lot. And it's one of those things where I just had my moral compass won't allow me to do it.
Yeah, that's good.
I've had the opportunity and I've turned it down. but I'm also the guy that will spend, money on something that I really want. But it wouldn't be like I'll purchase something that I'm looking for, but very rarely, and I think it's only been 2 occasions where it was something newer. My little collection, I like the older stuff. So I'll spend a couple extra dollars to pick up something that I don't have in my collection that you can't find on the shelf anymore.
Yeah, you got to. And I do that same thing. I've spent a lot of money on 510s
right.
that are
and I was
older.
going to say, you relate to that too with the 510s because, there's collections or there's stuff out there that you haven't been able to get, and you know that you're going to end up spending a couple extra dollars for it. But
I'm okay with
at the end of the day, it's worth it for you.
Yeah,
because it's something that you wanted, something that to give you that fulfillment.
And I saved up for it, and whatever. It's like, and the same thing with you. We're not rich people that can just have whatever they want.
I think about it. You always do that. What would I do if I had $1 million? Mm-hmm. And I would be horrible. I really don't think I'd ever want to be that rich.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen what it does to people. Do I want to be comfortable? Yeah. I'd rather be comfortable than stupid rich.
Yeah.
Somebody in my life in the past told me that it's better to be wealthy, or it's better to be rich than wealthy, because richness comes from family and love, and wealth is monetary.
Yep. And so it's sometimes temporary too.
If you live a rich life, then you may not necessarily have all the money in the world. You won't have all the wealth, but you'll have that fulfillment, fulfillment of.
Some of the poorest people on earth are like some of the happiest people on earth, and most giving people on earth, the people that don't have much. And then some of the most richest people are the most stingy people. I say a lot of them are, because they've got to where they're at because of their stinginess and not giving. And they don't give much, but they're miserable. A lot of them,
That's true to a degree.
Yeah,
but it's also, like I said, I've seen.
I'm not generalizing everybody. So of course,
I know, and there's going to be people out there, and I've seen it happen where they have money, and then all of a sudden
they don't.
You've given somebody $1. Mm-hmm. Well, now somebody else found out about that $1.
Yeah.
So now you got 5 people coming to you saying, "Hey, can you give me $1? You just gave him one."
Yeah.
So a lot of times, those folks, the ones that really are on the cusp, I would say, they're the ones that really true care, but they have to be careful with what they do.
Oh, sure. Totally understand
because, again, it's the lottery thing. You hit the lottery, and all of a sudden you've got family that you didn't know you had.
Aunt Myrtle, I've never heard of you before.
Yeah. Right, all of a sudden you've got family that their house is being foreclosed on, and they need a loan, or they need you to give them money, or they did something for you when you were 1.5 years old, and now all of a sudden they expect payment back.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. That's why I don't even want to deal with it.
So, right, and that's what I said. I'd rather be comfortable than to a point where I'm worried about what's happening to my money. Or is somebody going to do something to me that's going to take everything away from me?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So. But, for me, Kimber's the same way, whether we have a house or we don't have a house or a car or whatever, if we lost it all, for me and my faith and everything, I still, I'm still good. I don't need all of it. It's nice to have, and I'm blessed. And I always, whenever we eat, I'm blessed to have a roof over my head and food in my stomach every day of my life.
Yep,
so, and you don't know until you lose it. Some people, they lose all of that. We don't ever know what's going to happen in the future. So, what the future holds.
Nope. I mean, you do have some control in your own destiny.
Sure.
But to a degree, I mean, I was raised in a Catholic family. Mm-hmm. But I'm more spiritual than I am,
religious.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say, I'm not an extremist.
Yeah.
But I've always felt that if you're in touch with yourself and, you're in touch with your own mind and you can understand yourself, then you can understand other people.
Sure.
Do we struggle with that on a daily basis? Absolutely. There's days when, you feel like absolute dog crap, but you still have to struggle through and you make it by.
Yep.
Three things that I don't talk about: religion, politics, and women's age.
Yeah.
So I avoid those two topics like the plague.
Yeah.
Because I have my opinions, and my opinions are my opinions.
Yeah.
If you have your opinion, that's you. That's I wholeheartedly. But I will never force my opinion on somebody else, and I don't expect somebody to force their opinion on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to that extent, I feel that we've lost somewhere along the lines. We've lost our moral being.
Yeah, compass.
Yeah, it's just it's almost like a free for all, and that's what it feels like right now.
Yeah, totally agree with that, man.
It's and again, another reason why I think I connect with you so well, and we've had conversations about our feelings and our beliefs. I think we're on the same line. I always have thought we were on the same line about how we approach people and how we look at people and
how we love strangers. People. Yeah, how we love people, even strangers. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and it's I told you before, it's tough being an empath. You feel for people, and other people don't understand that concept. They're like, oh, the hell with that guy. Yeah. Why do you even care about somebody that you've never even met? And to try and explain to them what goes through your head is so hard.
Yeah, it's very hard.
But it is.
But you can make a positive impact in that person's life and help change their life.
And that's just it. Yeah. It's just a matter of and again, you can actually call it selfish.
Yeah. Because
the feeling that you get, that euphoria that you get when you've helped somebody out, or you've even just a general act of kindness, or, just seeing somebody that's been walking down the street and their head's down, and you hold the door open for them, or you do something.
You smile at them.
Smile at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, did I change that person's day?
Maybe, maybe not. Yeah.
Right now, the best trend, the biggest trend that I love that's going on right now is the TikTok videos and the YouTube videos of people placing Hot Wheels on people's windshield.
Yeah, I've done
and
that
filming
before.
their reactions. That is the greatest. Like, just watching grown men turn into these giggling little children is great. I mean, to me, that is like the greatest thing ever.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Like, I think I've talked about Sergey before. My Russian, he's Ukrainian. Excuse me.
Ukrainian.
He'll get real mad.
Get it right.
They get real mad. So, Ukrainian buddy. He towed he's towed my cars several times, but he's saved my life. Like, just like in the situations of like being there and being able to tow my cars when they've had issues, or you know. But it all started with a diecast car. It started with a $1 car. I gave him, I think it started with a regular. So I asked him, like, hey, Sergey, because he's a character. He's so funny. And I don't think he's ever going to listen to my podcast, but maybe. But he's a character, and he's like, hey, Mark, oh, man, your car blew up again? What's the deal, man? I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you right now. But I was like, hey, Sergey, like, what's, like, because he's just an incredible tow truck driver too. Like, he's good. He's good at what he does. He takes pride in it, and he's just a very selfless person that's always smiling. He's got a great attitude. And I'm like, hey, what's your favorite car, man? And he's like, oh, DeLorean, man. I love Back to the Future. Like, he's like, and so I brought him one out, and he was just like, I gave him $1 million. Like, he was just like so happy. Yeah. And he's like, why would you do this? And then I brought him, the next time I saw him, I brought him another, like a premium DeLorean, and I gave his son, his son's probably mid-20s or something like that, but I gave him, he's got an M3, so I gave him an M3 or two. And, nice. But yeah, we've built a friendship off of just me giving him some diecast because he loves cars too. But he's also like, he's going, I need to get my car towed up from a buddy's place way down south, but I'm playing I don't know, Tetris with my car right now. It's moving around because for some of you guys that don't know, and I don't even know if you know, Bruce, because I'm really I don't talk about it much, but my GTR, my engine blew up. I threw a rod out of it while I was driving on the freeway, and it's a long story for another day. I'm probably going to get into it because I got taken by the warranty company that won't cover it. But now I'm like shifting the car around, saving money. Dealership's going to help me out a bit, but he's been really, really helpful in getting the car over here, and now it's going to go to my other buddy's house and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it all started from Diecast, and he's a good buddy now. Like, he truly cares about me. He doesn't want to charge me to do stuff, but I always, of course, have to pay him. He didn't charge me much the last time when my engine blew up. He just came and got me, like dropped everything and came and got me. So that's all it takes sometimes, man. Just especially if you know another car person, just give them their car. If they've got a Datsun, if they got a Porsche, if they got a Chevy truck, just give. It doesn't have to be exactly the same thing, same color or whatever by any means.
Right.
Just it's a $1 car that can start like an awesome friendship. And it means so much more to them. They don't know how much it costs, and they may never collect them. I mean, Sergey doesn't collect Hot Wheels, but he still loves the gesture, and that I thought of him.
Yeah, it's just that. It's the gesture. Yeah. It's all about the act of kindness.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'm smelling food downstairs, so I gotta go. So Kimber's cooking. I smell bacon, and she,
I can't smell it.
Yeah, no, I know
it's
you
not
can't.
Cooking it enough.
Yeah, bacon, and I think she's making, French toast, like cinnamon French toast. And she's going to be posting a video probably this weekend, and I'm really proud of her because I know she's like so sweet, funny, and kind of very smart, and she's good with editing and stuff like that. She'll figure it all out. I don't even really have to help her that much. I'm just really wanting her to she's talked about it, so I'm like, stop talking about it, just do it, because I know you're capable, and I know that people will love you, and she knows kind of what to expect with how things work. She's watched, and she loves all you guys. She loves you guys. Like, she loves you, Bruce. She loves Nas, Derek. She loves JDC. She loves Amanda, his girlfriend, everybody. She loves everybody. Yeah. And she's involved. Yeah. She knows everything. She knows, like, she sees comments before I do and stuff, and she responds to some of my comments before I even get to them. I'm like, babe, you're making me look bad.
Yeah, she's got a couple of my
before I get to them. Yeah, she's already responded. She's like, oh, thanks for the kind words, Bruce. And then I'm like at work, like looking through some comments or whatever. I'm like, oh, how did she get to this one before? Babe, stop. You're just making me look like I'm a schmuck. Yeah.
So we know who the actual brains behind the operation is now.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah. She's so positive and everything. And sometimes when last night I was dogging the USPS, and I got home, they had it like in a pot, and there's water in the pot. So it was like floating in water. I'm like, what do you guys do? Because they're always doing that stuff. And she's like, babe, they're just people. Don't get mad at them. She's like, it doesn't help anything. And I'm just like, like a little kid. I'm just like, kick the box or whatever. And she's like, don't do that. Just let it go. And I'm just like, you're right. So
God, I hate when you're right.
Yeah. So she is generally. I mean, we are like, we try to always help you. She's my voice of reason, is what she is. And so I love her. But yeah, Bruce, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Everybody's going to be really excited to learn more about you. Everyone's kind of seen you around, and maybe a good or bad thing. Sure. I don't know. Maybe you'll, maybe people will be a little afraid of you.
Hopefully, I'll get it together. The battery light just went off, so it's charged.
Well, you have our full support, my friend. Like, if you do it, and don't worry. I know this is your DNA, that you worry about being like making it perfect, and it's got to be perfect. But but just know that we don't care, man. Like, we don't care. You get some stuff out there. We want to see it. You got Hewitts and now Eddie, who just kills me, dude. Like, his videos are just killing me. and he's like calling me out and talking to me like it's just like he's just so funny, his accent and everything. And I told him, I'm gonna do a video on you, man. I'm gonna do an impersonation. He's like, bring it. So yeah. So
but yeah, no, I absolutely 100% appreciate the opportunity. You know, hey, I think about it. You know, I told Derek when he had less than 1,000 subscribers, you know, you're going to hit it. You're going to be there. I'll be there in a year when you hit 50,000. And I'm telling you the same thing. You know, I'll be there. You know, I was there in the beginning. I may not have been your very first sub, but I've been there from the beginning, and I'll be there to celebrate your 100,000th and your millionth.
Yeah, we know, man. We know you. Yeah,
we just keep it up and keep doing what you do and enjoying what you do.
Oh yeah,
because when your hobby becomes a job, it's no longer a hobby.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would like to keep it a hobby as much as possible, and just keep growing, of course. But I don't want the toxic people to come in and all that stuff. I'll have to file it down. I mean, I haven't had to block many people, but I've had to delete comments and stuff like that. I try to keep my page PG, as you guys probably know. I mean, because I want kids to be able to come on there and not see that stuff. And I lost some people from the start. I had this guy that was saying, and he was really involved too. I mean, he was posting all the time, but he was like, "Hey, you can't protect these kids forever, and they're gonna hear it at school and stuff." I'm like, that's fine, and they are gonna, and I did as a kid. But that's not going to happen on my channel, my channel. So I just don't want that. So it's kind of unneeded, So there's plenty of channels. Nas, Mr. Nas, we're totally different people, brothers from a different mother. He's got a sailor mouth, but that doesn't bother me. I mean, and he's trying to work on it too. And I'm not going to try to change anybody. But he said, "Hey, Mark, because of you're not swearing all the time and stuff. That makes me want to swear less." And I was like, "That's great, but do what you got to do, man. It's your deal. I'm not gonna rain on anyone's parade if that's how they talk or whatever. Of course, I always ask for people to be respectful of what I want on my channel, of course. But
not gonna lie, this has been the probably the longest I've gone without dropping. Yeah. So,
well, congratulations."
But no, I mean, it's you catch yourself, and again, you think about where we are and the things that we're doing, and sometimes
who's listening to
that kind of right. And my boss says it all the time: know your audience. Careful what you say around certain people, and just know your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Bruce.
But anyway, I appreciate it. You got my number.
Yep, I got your number. You got my number, and hit me up whenever you need me.
And by the way, you're saved in my phone as Marky McHotwheels.
Marky McHotwheels, that's a good one. Yeah. I got all kinds of different names.
I was gonna put Member and Kark, but I thought no.
I do like some of those new ones.
They're
people
great.
Are combine them, and I encourage anyone to poke fun at me, make fun of me. Andre Cruz just made fun of me last night, posted my video of me dancing on my dance video and put white and nerdy to it, and I thought that was hilarious. So
I didn't see that.
You got to go watch that. Yeah, he sent it to me. He texted it to me and said, he was. And
that's great.
He's like, I was bored watching paint dry, so I had to do this.
That's another channel that we need to get going.
Andre
needs some exposure.
Yeah,
he is such a funny dude.
He's a character. So we'll get.
And he's a great guy. Like underneath all that, there's a guy that and I'm sure he doesn't want it out there, but he's got a big heart.
He does, and he won't admit it either. But he totally does, and he's been a great supporter of the channel and everything too. And with everybody, he's very generous. He's like you. He just sends people stuff and doesn't expect anything in return, at all. But he's a good dude. He's a real good dude. I'll get him on here one of these days if he can, mind his P's and Q's. I think he can, just with language and stuff like that. But he can because I've had a conversation with him for like an hour on the phone. Not that long ago.
He's like the rest of us tough guys. We got a soft spot.
Yeah, tough guys, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, us tough guys over here. And
use guys.
Use guys over there. Don't know how to deal with us guys over here.
Yeah. That's going to be Eddie, basically. I'm going to try to get him on the podcast. That's going to be him. Mark. Hey, Mark. Mark's video over there. He's making fun of my squeaky chair, the dogs on the ground. These dogs, this chair's older than you and Kimber combined, Mark. What are you doing? You watching this video? You're probably rolling around on the ground, Mac. So Kimber caught me this morning. I was saying Mac. I was like Mac, and she's like, "What did you say?" And I was like Mac, and she's laughing because she knew it was Eddie. I was just like practicing in my mind, just like
and Mac and Kimber,
Mac and Kimber.
Kimber.
All right, buddy. I'm gonna go eat some food.
Yep, go eat, enjoy.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you made it this far,
love you, honey. I love you, buddy. You know, take care of yourself. If you need anything,
you too, man.
Like I said, you got my number.
All right, man. You have a blessed weekend, and I will. I'll be talking to you soon, buddy.
You do the same.
All right, bye, Bruce.
See y'all.
See y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Call ended.
And that's it.